Good morning, everybody. Thank you for stopping by my channel. This is Kimberly at Journal Breeze. I know it's been a while since we've worked on our folio, and I have done some things behind the scenes because, I often work at night and it's just too... Oh, sorry, I just saw something on my screen. It's so dark at night, and just the individual light, it tends to change the color that I'm working with, and the color is such an important part of how I make decisions. So I prefer to shoot these when it's sunny and when it's, mornings are usually what I have free. So here we are. I've made some progress, like I say, and I want to work on some things today. So the first thing I'm going to do is set my timer. I'm going to set it for a half an hour, but I'll probably go a little bit longer, but at least that gives me an idea when we're at that point. Okay, so yeah, I'm super excited about what's happening here. I'll show you real briefly what I've done that you haven't seen. I added this writing place to the back. I glued this on. I think you saw that. And this is from Lorna's new paper pad kit, Tailor-Made Journals, 3 separate words from Creative Expressions, and it's called the Painter's Pad or something like that. Anyway, gorgeous pictures. This is on top of a scripted receipt. If you can kind of see the writing in the background and some other overlays they did with these flowers. But I felt like this did look Christmassy, and this was light enough to write. And I didn't want to have anything bulky here because the inside's getting bulky. So, and I wanted to use the paper. I kind of found as I was making this folio that I wanted to add things in, almost like people do with a December daily, only I'm not doing it like 30 times or anything even close. It's just that certain things have happened. For example, I found a bunch of cool lace at a wonderful boutique I went to that I'm going to audition with you. And then this paper pad came from Lorna, and I just kind of want to have little memories built into this folio, and that is why I'm making some of the choices I'm making. So since I saw you last, I made the tag that goes into the front pocket. I added a piece of lace-looking paper, that's from the Paper Cameo, and then some font from Raindrop Lila's botanical kit, I believe it is, or maybe her Christmas kit. I've got them both, it's hard to keep track. And then I added these pieces down here by cutting up a smaller version of this to kind of form another design, just for fun, just only for fun. But I wanted this to be on the left side because I wanted that color to be what stood out here. I felt that it picked up these reds, and since it's taking on that Christmas or seasonal feel, I thought that was a good choice. So that's the only new thing there. And then inside, the only new thing is that I put this beautiful tag that I made with Paper Cameo papers. This is one sheet of paper, double-sided, and I glued a gem from the top of this here, and I cut out a background paper or a full journal page paper that's in her kit. Please don't ask me which one. I don't know. No. Ava Maria, that's right. 4 and 5, I think. And so I cut this tag out and made the top design that she has on her tags that's taller and takes up more space. I cut it down to fit inside of this design on the paper. It's a beautiful piece of paper. And this bottom is, in fact, on this same paper. And so it looks like this lion is holding up Mary and Jesus. I just love it. And then I cut this cross out from another tag, and it's also on another piece of paper. And this was at the top. It was actually a necklace. So look at how beautiful this digital is. You can see her veil, her sheer veil. and then the halo around her and the halo around Jesus. It's so intricate. I love the color red. I love the mountain in the background. This looks like where I live. And it's just so, so beautiful. I just love how it turned out. But it looks like it's all one thing, and it's not. So it's fun to play with the papers that way. So that fit in pretty. And I brought in a little bit of blue color, which I have scattered around. You've seen this. And, whoops. And I believe you've seen this. Yeah, I wanted this red to show up with this. And then this is the tag that I put inside of here, which I love. This came from Souvenir de la France. Gorgeous, gorgeous tag. This is from, I think this is Souvenir de la France also. I've been giving credit to Ida Jane Designs. But actually, it's also from Souvenir de la France. Just a beautiful piece of paper. And then I stitched with red and made a tag to go inside. And I forget who this tag is from. Past in History. Not really sure. This is from Lisa and Olive. And these are pieces of very authentic looking, but not authentic, chintz from the early 1800s. So fitting. And I added to this wonderful collection 2 pieces of fabric. So this is fabric. These are printed. And this is also fabric. So I'm trying to keep the early 1800s feel and also the bringing in blue here and there and keeping the red going. These are all early looking fabrics as well. Well, not this hot pink. That would have come later, but you know, that's okay. So that's going into here, and I just love it. So you see it's kind of keeping the textile theme alive, which I just like to put in anything I make, it seems. Oops, let's get that tucked in there. Okay, and then it can stick out a bit and show the red. Yeah. So the biggest changes have come on what's in the middle. So this one I've showed you. This one we talked about together, and this is what I've made, and I do love how it's turned out. This is trims from boho from oh my gosh, Boho Dreams. That's not quite it, is it? I'll have to write it out because I'm losing it. But I got it like 5 years ago, so don't think you can find it there. And then this is a piece of paper put on top of this. And then I just paper clipped. Oh, this is what it looks like without that on there. I stamped Paris ever so lightly down here. And Merry Christmas ever so lightly. You really can't see it. Just love it though. And then I put this on the back. So pretty. This is from Miss Violet Vintage. And it's all one piece. And it was just so pretty. I didn't think it needed anything else. I love the color red and blue. Such a beautiful picture of her being a mom. And then this came from a letter from somebody I really enjoyed for a long time when I was doing the Margaret Miller challenges on Facebook primarily. And she sent me things from when she was living in Austria. And so I love this very Christmas looking stamp. And I wanted to include it here. And then this picture is so cute of these ladies. It just related to that. So I thought, well, maybe I can make this sort of an addition to the card. And I do think it looks really cool. And I like it. So I made it removable so that if I changed my mind, I could take it off. But I think it adds more to the card, more festive. So I'm happy with that. Happy with both sides, actually. And then this card, I just love engravings like this. They're just so beautiful. And of course, it's Christmassy. And then I added in this beautiful picture that I got. It's vintage I put this design on the back and put gold on it to cover up the glue that I put on the ribbon. But these are of Italian paintings, and it came from Italy. And it's just such a beautiful picture. I just think it's lovely. But I also like the design that was left here. I added this with glue, this part here, and I added this with glue. And then this is on the paper behind that came from where all of these pictures are coming from on here. And this one too, I think. Different kit though. Ruby and Pearl XO. This is her collaged version in her prayer cards that came out last year. So I actually love it exactly the way it is. I just love it because I love the engravings. And this card is one of my very favorites. Just love it. So I thought I would tie it together by cutting this out and gluing it down here and cutting this out, which kind of went along with that star in my mind. And then I really love this picture, so I thought, okay, if I stick it all the way down and put a tab on it, then I can get it easily, but it doesn't really interfere with that. And then I wanted to write, so I put this from, I think it's her, the kits that have the document covers. And it says December 11th. That's why I picked this one. And so I think it's great. It gives me what I want. And then you've all seen, well, no, those of you that follow me on Instagram have seen this, but isn't this adorable? I tuck it up to store it, but it actually is more like this. Wait, I want the word joy to show. So yeah, so we've got three sisters, and I tea-dyed this eyelet and attached it with velvet and backed it and put something else over that so I can write on it. And then I added this gold from Paper Cameo, the bow I cut out. I put some sparkle in there. This is a piece of scrapbook paper, and this is also from Ruby and Pearl. This is from Chapter 1 Papers, and this is from the Paper Cameo. So I just think it's so sweet, and this green just sort of played into this green-gray, and also the green up here. But since I made this, I made these darling plaid, super cute plaid bows. And I thought, I wonder if this plaid bow would go better. It would be more exciting to me than the red. I like the sparkle. Let's see if I put this. Well, I don't think I like that sparkle, and the red really is pretty. I mean, the plaid just kind of gets lost, I guess, is mostly what I'm thinking, because there's a lot going on, and yeah, it doesn't have the impact. I don't think it's really the right design. It's a little more feminine, really, than plaid may imply. Okay, too bad. I was hoping that would be a cool touch, but anyway, I love it. I'm happy with it. Okay. So then that's to write on. I may put something on the back. And then this is another one you haven't seen, but we played with it a bit, I do believe. So I put this on as a pocket, and this is another card from Ruby and Pearl XO, and I did it on photo paper. And I think this just looks really pretty with that anyway, but I just left it unglued at the top so I could stick that in there. And then this and this. So it looks like this. This is Ruby and Pearl. This is Ida Jane. This is Ida Jane. This I got from the premium channel on graphics fairy, and I think it's just so beautiful. I didn't do a thing to it. It literally looks like this, and it's just great. So I'm going to write on it, minus her face. It's light enough to write on, but it's just beautiful. Didn't want to use it as a main focus because, you know, I didn't do anything to make it look that way, so it's kind of a cheat. But this card, so pretty. Old book page, added this pretty thing to the top of the picture, and then made the book page go above and below and above. And so I decided to tuck this in both and have the little kids stand out. And then this is so pretty. Oh, this is also from that same sheet. She's below. That girl on the back is there, and she's down here. Just so pretty. This is from Ida Chain. So I'm putting that there. Yeah. So the mother and child theme is continuing, and I like that. All right. So I think you saw everything else. So here's the thing. I have 2 more, I think, of these to make, or at least 1. And it's getting heavier by the minute. And I'm loving making these tall things, so I don't really feel like stopping, honestly. I'm going to just do it till I don't want to do it anymore. Well, I'm going to have to stop, I guess, at some point, but it's not taking up that much room because I'm keeping everything flat. So maybe at least 1 more, which we're going to work on today. And then I have another thing. This was in here. And I'm going to be adding, this is another wonderful sheet from Souvenir de la France. Just love it. And I'm going to cut out individual ones, and I'm going to glue them here. I think that'll be a pretty way to decorate that. And then this, as you recall, has a lot of writing space. And I can tuck more in there. So pretty. I just love that picture. So that's going to go in there too, and then 1 more card. So that might end up being big enough. Yeah, I may have to stop at that point. But aren't they gorgeous together? Oh my gosh. Okay, so my thought is I went to the oldest house in the town next to mine is like 1880 something, built in 1880 something, and now it's a house museum. And they have a Christmas boutique there every year, and I always go, and I always get something really cool. Always. This year, I was able to get all of this lace. I'm going to take it out because I want to look and see if it would work better. You know what I'm realizing? I cannot glue something to the bottom of this to hold it like a pocket unless it sticks out the top. I didn't think about that. Okay, let me see. And I think I might still tie something too, as I was going to do originally, because I like the idea. But let me see if I stick it out the top so that I can make a pocket. Well, you know what? The message, honestly, I don't think that's a bad idea. With all good wishes for the new year. It sort of brings forth both the textile and the season into one piece. I like it. Perhaps I need to make the bottom one more interesting. It's left like that for writing. But perhaps I could use the one I'm working on here as the bottom. And actually having this part show. Let's see if I can tuck that in. Oops, it already slipped down. If I did something like this for showing on top, and then did this in the back, let's see what that looks like. Oh, look how pretty that is as the back. That's really pretty. It's going to stick up like that. That's so pretty. And actually, the thing that I'm going to put on here is another oval. So it's conceivable. I think that's a great idea. Ha! I'm glad I'm videoing with you today. It made me think about these things a little more than I had been. Okay, so enough of showing. I was going to do more auditioning. Okay, so if these are sticking up high enough for this sign to be above, okay. Then we've got this one. You know, who's to say it's going to stay up that high unless I actually glue it high? This is probably not heavy enough to... I don't know, it's really pretty. I love this, though. I think this is going to take some thought. Any suggestions or ideas? Please tell me. Put them in the comments, DM me, whatever. Look at this beautiful collar. Well, it may not have been a collar. Isn't it pretty? Oh my gosh, you don't see lace like that around here. Oh, it's so pretty. Of course, it would never work for the pocket. So let me try to stay focused here so I can get to everything here. This is another beautiful collar and collar. Oh, just gorgeous. Look at that. And that. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I'm going to cut into this. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love it so much. Anyway, that would never work for the pocket. So we won't be doing that. This I thought might, though. Look at this interesting thing. This is a collar. So this has a little more stability. I don't like it, though. It's too summery looking. I love it, but it's summery. And then this is a longer roll of it. It's really summery looking to me. This was an insert. You know, they would make these inserts. So this would have been 30s, 20s, 40s. It's made there to go around your neck. I don't know if I can cut into any of this stuff, but I bought it to cut into it. So the ones I've had forever that are stored away, I just think of them as collars, and I'm thinking I'm going to have to sell them because I don't think I can cut into them. But these that I've not owned long, I'm hoping. Look at this. Oh, gorgeous. Look at that design. Just beautiful. My favorite part is right there. Oh, I just love it. That's, of course, never going to form a pocket unless I backed it, but I don't really want to do that. And then I got a ton of this lace. Just beautiful. So beautiful. Just beautiful. Lots and lots and lots. So, quite the find. Extremely well priced for where I live. Just finding it at all and then having the price be so fair was fantastic. And of course, it's all for donation to the Old House Museum. So, it's a win-win-win for everybody. So, I don't know, I'm feeling kind of bummed because I don't really feel like I've come up with the answer if I want to have that sticking out. I don't know. I'm going to have to think about it. I'm going to have the tie here for sure. Maybe I have to make a paper pocket. Maybe that's what I have to do. Use the same paper because I like it. And then it's going to have to be such a thick pocket. Well, I guess it's doable. Or use, well, I want it to be pretty. I was going to say use muslin, but I want it to be really pretty. Keeping it up at this height is going to be the key. I suppose I could start the pocket high, just glue it here, give it a lot of room in the bottom. I think fabric might be better. If I use lace or fabric, then I could still start it here. I think that might be better. I'm going to try to work that out. If if I can work this out somehow, because I could even have the glue go all the way over to there and all the way over to there. I think that would be pretty. I think maybe that, I don't know if this would stretch out over time and the weight would be too much. I don't know. Help if you can. Help. Help! Help! If I don't move on, we will not get to procrastination or making anything. Sort of like what happened last time. So I'm trying to move forward here. Okay, so my desire for this, as I showed you last time, is to have this around there. And then I love, this looks like it's holding something up. It's got that whole, here's the legs. The men are sitting on the seat. The angels are holding it up. You know, it's the kind of carved thing that you would see holding up a statue or something. And so I like how that looks. I need to brown this up more because it's too white. I can see I started and then I stopped. Okay, so we'll get this going. So yes, I'm going to talk a little bit today about procrastination. Oh my gosh, my door just flew open. Wow. Well, maybe my dog came in. You know, it's something that all of us deal with, right? I mean, it's, you know, in simplest terms, procrastination is really just resistance. It's resistance to something. And the something that it's resistance to is either real or it's imagined. And frequently it's imagined. You know, if I do this, then this will happen. And so you're dealing with both things. And when we come to call it procrastination, that means that it's something that a person does much of the time. And it's actually affecting how well they're able to live their life. And, you know, maybe they only procrastinate in their work. And so it's a function, it's inhibiting their ability to get their work done, and so they can't get the promotion, and they aren't able to feel good about themselves, so then they dread going to work, and, you know, eventually they get fired, and then they can't pay their bills, blah, blah, blah. That's when it becomes an issue. But I'm going to talk today about overcoming resistance in crafting. And so if you're, you know, I guess this needs to be said, but, you know, I can't imagine that somebody would be constantly procrastinating on crafting. I would think if that were the case, you would pick another hobby. You know, this is, you know, even if you're doing it to make money, find another way. There's no reason to be, you know, in a constant state of resistance for anything if you can possibly change it out. So I would say if you're really procrastinating a lot on doing this craft, you either need some one-on-one assistance to get you over at that hump with the crafting, take classes and, you know, watch other YouTubers and, you know, get coaching if you want. Just be aware that something that's a hobby should not be something that you're procrastinating on. That's really, you know, hurting yourself. So we're going to assume that it's just an aspect of crafting. It's just an aspect of it, or maybe it's a few aspects. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today, because I don't want to get heavy. And we all sometimes procrastinate. It just is a truth. And we all sometimes procrastinate in crafting. So hopefully, you know, this is not making you feel bad. It's actually making you feel like, oh, it's kind of a human thing. So let's see what I might be able to do to help me when I really get stuck in that. That's the point of why I'm going to talk about it today. And also, procrastination and perfectionism, they can go hand in hand. You can be a procrastinator and not be perfectionistic, but you can't be perfectionistic and not also be a procrastinator. It's just, unfortunately, the truth. So let me think a minute, because if I'm talking like this, I can't do this at the same time. So these are I'm still confused as to what I'm going to put in here. So I had shown you this as a possibility. And although I do love it, it's again quite religious, and I've been bringing, I ended up doing those wonderful prayer cards from Heather, and I don't want to keep on going, and I've got this other beautiful black and white that I pulled out of that prayer card one. So, and it's so dark that it kind of, takes away from the overall calmness of this card. So I'm not sure about this. Then I thought about this wonderful angel. Not sure where she came from. And I do love it, but it just leaves so much plain. So then I thought, well, maybe I could rip this doily apart and have some ruffles sticking out on each side. That's cute. And then this would be like this, but it doesn't show very much because the background's white. So then I thought about this music paper, and I thought if I browned up the edges, like I'm layering it, because I'm thinking I want to brown up. God, I can't say the word. I want to brown up the edges of each layer and have it stand out. Wow, see, that's a half an hour already. Okay. And then lay it on top so that it kind of looks like this. Doesn't need to be browned up, but I'm just thinking, I love the treble clefs. I love how they look, and I like it when they show. I'll show them on one side or so. Yeah. So that's another possibility. And then the other possibility is this picture. This is from Lydia's kit, Christmas kit. And what I was going to do is cut it out to fit, not completely, but pretty much fit inside of that circle. So I'm really wondering which I should do. I think this is very soft, and I really like the back of the angel showing like that. The fact that it's engraved, it goes with everything else that I'm, not everything else, it's going with a lot of what I'm bringing in. So that's a contender. And you know what? It's easy. This I have to cut apart. It would be dark again. I think it's a sweet picture, but I only like this part. So that's why. You know what? It's done. I like it. I have brought in more engraving, and I think it goes well with my project. So that's what I'm going to do. So as I talk to you a little bit more about procrastination, I'm going to pause you for a second first so I can get a drink of water because my throat is getting parched. Okay. So I've set my timer for another 15 minutes. And I'm hoping I'll just stop when I'm at that point. And I would really love to hear from you guys about ideas for the base. And then I will come back and I will do that in another video. Time just flies when I'm with you. Oh my goodness sakes. Okay, so procrastination. So some of the things in crafting that can cause procrastination, assuming you don't have an overall huge issue with it, would be not knowing how to do something, right? If you don't really know how to do something, if you see something and you didn't really understand or it wasn't explained, you see it in just a flat picture or something, it can cause you to just procrastinate trying ideas. And then it builds and grows so big that it makes it harder to begin it at all, and then you just decide not to do it. And that's how resistance works no matter what the cause is. You resist, you give in, and then eventually you give in so long you start to feel bad about yourself. And when you feel bad about yourself, then what happens is your brain generalizes. And now even going to your craft room or even going to your craft desk, it starts with the desk and then it moves to, the particular project or the particular whatever. It just grows. It's called chaining. I don't want to get too deep. It's something that just happens automatically. So it's important that you figure out what is it in particular in your crafting procrastination that you're currently dealing with. What is it that you're really having trouble with? What about it? Is it that you don't know how? Is it that you don't really want to do it but you have to because it's a gift or it's a custom order? Maybe you have to work with a kit you don't want to work with, or a color you don't want to work with, or like I had resistance to working with Christmas. So when I realized that I was resisting Christmas and that really wasn't going to work, since I'm on 2 design teams and, it's kind of what everybody's doing. And I'm not resistant to Christmas itself either, so it's just this year it came too fast and I didn't want to do it. So in October. So I put it off till November. I felt that was fair. But then I still felt resistant. So I went and bought a bunch of stuff. Yes, I know everybody can't do that, and I'm fortunate. But I got everything on sale. It was so darn cheap. And I was able to, buy non-Christmassy things that I could use for Christmas. And that made me feel, that gave me something to focus on rather than the fact that I'm making Christmas things. And having that alternate focus takes it away from the negative, which for me in October was Christmas, and puts it into the positive, which for me was using different materials, using different craft materials, K-R-A-F-T, and using some fussy cuts, which I don't do. And so I focused on that, and I didn't think of it as Christmas, although it completely was Christmas. So that can help you overcome something. Find something you like in the project and focus on that, building up that part of the project, and don't focus on the part of it that you don't like. Okay, so remember too that a lot of people resist crafting when their room gets super cluttered. That'll be true in any room. If you really have a clutter problem, you stop going into certain rooms and you consider them to be the place where you just throw stuff. That's a very extreme example. But we all get messy in our craft room. We all do. And the way I've overcome that is that I clean up after everything. And the way I clean up sometimes is to just put everything left over into these boxes that come with my Chewy order. Chewy dog food comes in these, well, do I have one handy I can show you? Not really. They have a high wall about like that, and they're made out of, and it's a box, and it's a rectangle, and it's about this big, so it fits a paper flat, and they're heavy duty, and I can stack them on top of each other if necessary. And that allows me to get it off my desk, so now I'm freed up and I can start on something else if I'm on some kind of a deadline. But I also find that they're handy to carry because I work in different parts of my studio. That's just part of how I deal with boredom or procrastination. I like to sit down, I like to stand up, I like to be in front of the TV or not in front of the TV. I switch up a lot with everything. I read in different places, I write in different places. That's just part of my personality. And if that's part of yours, then own it, and don't stay in the same spot all the time. Find a way to carry your craft around or parts of it to work in different parts of your abode. So dealing with your clutter is a really important thing to do, to avoid the procrastination of not feeling good in your space. And you may not think it's clutter. You might think this is just, how I work. These are my scraps. This is not clutter. This is my crafting. That is fine. But if you feel tense or anxious or negative about going to your workspace, I'm pretty darn sure it has to do with the fact that you're feeling kind of claustrophobic. All of the stimuli from these different papers might be too much for you. Some people thrive in that and don't consider it overwhelm. Other people, it's too much. Do I use this? Do I use that? Indecision. That's been brought up to me. That is a large part of why we procrastinate. If we can't make a decision, then we're just going to walk away from the whole thing. So it's important that you hone down to your bodily feelings when you're feeling procrastinated. This is a little deep, I know, but I'm a mind-body person, and they are not separate. They work as one. So whatever you think is going on in your mind, it's reflected in your body. And whatever's going on in your body is reflected in your mind. That's just a fact. And so if you can't tap in to exactly what you're thinking that's causing you to put something off, then tap into your body. Where do you feel something, and what is it you feel? Is it a block? Is it tension? Is it fear? What is it? Hone down. Is it in your feet because you're standing and you need to reconsider what you're standing on? Is it in your gut? Are you hungry? Is it in your gut because you have butterflies and you feel anxious? Is it in your chest? Are you not breathing fully? Practice breathing fully. Do you get a headache? Is it because your glasses slipped down? Is it because you're looking down too much? Is it a neck issue? Your procrastination can have absolutely nothing to do with psychology. Nothing. But it can not even be noticed because you've clumped it into that term. So when you notice how your body's involved, suddenly it puts a new light on it. And that's what I do in my work with people, is I help them take different perspectives onto the problems that they're bringing forth. And so this is so frequently what's going on. It's a physical thing. And once you address that, then you aren't procrastinating any longer, at least not in the way you were before. So think about that as well, and I recommend you do this through journal writing. If you can start to make a list of the places that you're feeling uncomfortable in your body, maybe it's the chair you're sitting on, maybe it's the clothes you're wearing, maybe it's that you eat right before you craft and you feel sleepy. I mean, there's just a bazillion things that can interfere with your willingness to tackle something scary, or your willingness to just sit down and even make a video, which is scary. For me anyway. So you want to be at your best when you sit down to craft and you're going to work on the thing that you find to be challenging for you. Okay, so decluttering and making your space something that invites you. Having a space that has things you need handy and things that you're using for this project around you is not what I consider to be clutter. And so you're seeing all this around me. Well, these are all things that this whole section, and up here is always here. Whoops. Over here is my current, over this way is what I have for my current project. So, and I work in this smallish area here, even though I have a huge studio, because I like to be able to kind of reach. It's like working in a kitchen and having the things you need handy. That's why I moved my crafting space from a giant space to this smaller area of my room. So it works out well for me. So you might consider that. Maybe you need to move where your desk is, or move the way you face. I have a beautiful view of the mountains right in front of me here. Figure it out. What makes you feel happy? Why does this space call to you, and why does it not? Make a list. It calls to me for these reasons. It doesn't call to me for these reasons. And switch it up. Give yourself that opportunity. So these all help, believe it or not, with procrastination in crafting. And then remember that stressing over deadlines, that's something either you do that all the time or you don't. I'm the kind of person that doesn't, because more times than not, literally like most of the time, I get my thing done way before the deadline. And that way, I can make changes later if something else comes up. So rather than put it off because I may not have thought of everything, I make it. And then I have a chance to look at it every day, and maybe there's something I want to do different or add, but it's complete. And I even take pictures so that if the deadline comes up and I've forgotten about it, I have them there to get them into Instagram. And that's the way I've been about everything. My schooling, anything I work on, I really do it in advance. Every now and again, that's not possible. It can be difficult around holidays. I don't get sick, so that doesn't really interfere. basically that's the way I operate. And then that keeps I have no anxiety that way, right? I can spend all the time I want on it early on because I'm going to get it done so far in advance. So you might think about that instead of working so close to your deadlines, if deadlines cause you stress, or if deadlines cause you to say no to something. That's not good if you really want to do it. Okay, so let's see if I can talk and craft at the same time. Ugh, I'm not good at that. Let's see. This was here, and I want to cover up it's like a tulip wreath. Maybe it has a name. Anyway, I told you it's Napoleonic. Okay, so then I had this here. Okay, that's too rough of a. Gotta make that smaller. Okay, let me see what else I want to tell you. Okay, so I mentioned setting up your environment so that it's appealing to you. So that would include things like if lighting a candle is symbolic, like I'm going to work on my craft now. And maybe if it's only a small thing you're procrastinating on, if you set up your environment well, then chances are you're going to stay with it once you finish that tough thing. And you're going to realize you blew it out of proportion probably, and it really wasn't that tough. Or it was tough and you did it and you feel super proud of yourself. That's a really good way to feel. And so you want to reward yourself. So I set up rewards in advance. Like if I get this thing done, it might be something like making a phone call I don't want to make. It's not, it might be doing more on my taxes, or it might be paperwork. I use it in everything. If I need to force myself into something, maybe I can put that there and then put the angel here. And so getting your environment set up, getting all of your senses met. I like working in silence most of the time. I find it hard to watch a video while I've got my mind going, and I also don't like watching TV much when I don't like watching TV much, period, but I don't like watching TV much when I'm crafting. Sometimes, like Hallmark movies, because they're so simplistic, they don't really take any watching at all. So then it just kind of feels like company in a way. And sometimes football I'll watch from a distance, but that's hard on me. I really love football. So set it up. Put on your music, put on your TV, put on your movie, put on your YouTube, whatever it is. Don't tackle the thing you're avoiding without setting up your environment in a way that works well for you. What do you think of that? I like that. I think that looks pretty darn pretty. Okay, I'm going to start to glue. So if you're feeling less capable of something, see if you can ask a friend for help to describe it to you, or again, take a class or ask questions, find a way to get that capability set. And then your reward can be that you get to, look at a YouTube video, for example, or fussy cut if that's what you really like to do. Or your reward can be call a friend, or work on a project that you're not procrastinating on. Oh, my timer's going off. Okay. Okay. So I want to finish this part of the conversation, but if I don't craft, I'll get it done faster. So let me just sit here and finish it. And if you don't want to hear it, you can get off. And I so appreciate you coming by. And to those of you that are staying or that have enjoyed it so far, I really, really hope that you are being helped by what I'm telling you. It's an important thing to conquer so that your self-esteem doesn't get affected. So self-compassion is a really important part of dealing with procrastination in any capacity. When we're self-compassionate, that means we say things to ourselves that we would say to a friend if they were telling us this problem. Be gentle with yourself. It's okay. You're a good crafter. This is just a little hiccup in the road. I'm okay. I shouldn't feel so bad about myself. This is, just an area that right now I'm having trouble with. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to overcome it. This does not mean I can't craft well. It just means I'm having a little hiccup, and I will succeed. Talk to yourself that way. Don't say negative things to yourself. really ever. And when you start to say negative things to yourself, correct them. It's okay to understand that there's some negative things about you, but deal with them. Don't just say them and then move on. Your brain is going to hear that and take it on, and those things are going to plant themselves in your memory and in your self-image. And, we're just human. We're just human. So recognizing where we have the issue and working on that is a positive thing to do. Also, you can talk to your procrastination, or you can talk to your project, or you can talk to the part of your project that you're having trouble with and ask for help. This is really talking to your intuition. And talking to our intuition is a wonderful way to build our intuition to be more accurate, and you can rely more on your intuition. If you want to call it your angels you're talking to, or spirits, or God, that's cool. Whatever you want to call it, but ask for help and listen for the answer. It takes courage to step into resistance. It's exciting to step into resistance with something like crafting because it's so manageable and so tiny compared to stepping into resistance, of some major thing like going to a doctor's appointment you're dreading. That takes incredible courage, or even making the phone call for the doctor's appointment. So this is really tiny. So put it in perspective and step into it. Persistence. You have to keep doing what it is you don't like to do over and over and over until it becomes very easy, automatic. Your brain has registered it in your memory. It comes up quickly when you recall it, and it no longer provides you with resistance. That's what I'm doing with making videos. That's where my resistance is, making videos. I've said it a million times to you guys, but talking to nobody is really been difficult for me. I lead groups, I give lectures, I am absolutely comfortable talking to a group of people, talking to people in a circle, talking to people one-on-one, as long as I can see their face or hear them on the phone and they talk back. Seeing their face is helpful because I think our faces speak volumes, body language in general, but just talking to myself, this is not fun for me. So I have been doing it more and more and more until this Thanksgiving time where I got away from it. But making 2 videos a week instead of 1 a month, that's a big step. And honestly, I'm starting to kind of like it. I'm starting to not dread it as much as I did. And so this works. You just have to keep doing what you don't like over and over and over. Cutting out ovals that fit inside, that's something I still don't like to do. But the more I do it, the more I figure out that I can do it good enough. And that's what you want to do. You just want to do a good enough job. Let's see, what else? Visualization. That is such a powerful tool we have. Directing our imagination to see in our mind's eye the outcome that we want to have. So whatever the thing is you're having difficulty doing, whatever you're procrastinating on, if it's starting, if it's ending, if it's selling, if it's cutting out, if it's making choices, just sit, pay attention to your breath for 5 or 6 breaths. Let your shoulders drop down to the ground, and then see yourself in your mind's eye doing very comfortably and easily the very thing you're avoiding. And if you do that over and over and over, it will register in your brain and it will come out more that way. It works, it's proven, absolutely powerful tool. And then the last thing I'll say to keep this from being too long is that you want to be present to the thing that you're dreading. If you go off in a trance, if you think being mindless in accomplishing the thing that you don't want to do, which is kind of why I think not having the TV on or a video on is a good idea. I think you need to, background music is fine, but I think you kind of need to eliminate some of those audio obstacles, audio distractions. Maybe not all of you, maybe some of you tune out whatever you've got on anyway. Decide for yourself, but I like to work in quiet for those times. And if you're present to it, your brain will be able to store what you've done temporarily. It stores something for 2 weeks temporarily, and then it gets rid of it, which is why the persistence is important to do as much as you can in a short period of time. And if you keep doing or needing the same skill over and over again, or needing to call out the same word over and over again, then your brain will decide that it's worth it to put it in long-term storage in your hippocampus, most likely. And that, because there's really memory stored kind of many places in our brain, that's why I say that, many places kind of in our body too, but the body storage is more, more of a traumatic thing, so we're not talking about that. So anyway, be present. Let your brain catch on that this is something you want to learn, something you want to be able to do easily, something you want to be able to call back and do again, something that you want to come to you easily. Once it comes to you easily, it will not be a source of procrastination for you. And that's where I hope I'm getting with these videos. So in part, coming up with this overcoming perfectionism and overcoming procrastination videos series is that this is where I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable talking about these things and helping people. This is where my comfort zone lies. So I thought, well, if I combine my love of crafting and kind of how I do it, I can be more spontaneous and not have to spend so much time prepping, which then interferes with how much time I have to make a video. So I combine the spontaneous crafting, which is a little scary, but I'm getting used to it, with what I like to talk about. Then in that way, I am willing to make more videos. So the only question then is, I'm not going to always be talking about these subjects, but I also really like that I've gotten a lot of feedback that you guys really like me talking about this subject anyway. And I hope you'll feel the same way about procrastination. If there's other subjects in this line of things that affect us as crafters, let me know, and I'll see about my knowledge of them to be able to talk to you about them here. And I also would love to know what you think about today's procrastination topic. If you have more questions on it, let me know. I can address those next time. And that's it. So thank you for being here. Thank you for helping me overcome my resistance to making videos and being able to share it with you. I think it's fun. It makes making the videos actually more important to me, more part of, I think we need to do things for each other that are helpful. It's okay to do stuff for ourselves that's soothing and everything, but I really like to combine helping in what I do. So this gives me that opportunity, and I thank you for watching. If you're here, I really appreciate it. All right. So if you like this video, please click like. And if you have anything to say, add, ask, ideas on my pocket, please leave a comment or DM me on Instagram or write me an email. My website has my email address on it somewhere. And that's about all for today. I hope you like this. I think it's going to be beautiful. I'm going to glue it down as soon as I turn this off. And I'll see you for another one on this, and I wish you the best. Take care. Have a great week. Bye-bye.